Developing right now on Morning News Now, a path of destruction stretching across the U.S. from a series of intense springtime storms.
This is my backyard. I'm not even kidding. This is right here.
This morning, communities from Colorado to Kentucky leveled by tornadoes, and the threat is not over. We are tracking the storm's path, plus a sharp temperature divide as you start your work week. Also this morning, a devastating diagnosis. Former President Joe Biden battling an aggressive form of prostate cancer. What we know about his prognosis. Plus, new information about a bombing at a fertility clinic in Southern California and a possible motive for the 25-year-old man identified as a suspect.
And this was a targeted attack against the IVF facility. Make no mistake, we are treating this as an intentional act of terrorism.
We'll bring you the latest, including past writings now linked to the suspect. And tragedy on the water this morning, an investigation underway after a Mexican Navy ship smashed into the Brooklyn Bridge, killing 2 sailors and injuring several others, and all caught on camera. What we're learning about what may have gone wrong.
It was a very busy news weekend, so we're going to catch you up on everything
sure
that
was.
happened.
And
Good to have you
here.
with us. And I'm back. Good to have you with us on a Monday morning. I'm Joe Fryer.
We're ships passing now, here for a day, and then I'm taking a little break. I'm Savannah Sellers. Thanks for being with us. We're going to begin this morning with the deadly string of storms and tornadoes that killed at least 28 people over the weekend. In Colorado, several tornadoes, like this one we're showing you right now, which was caught on tape, touched down just east of Denver, destroying at least 10 buildings and damaging nearly 20 homes.
In Kentucky, at least 18 people were killed. Many others were injured. The storms there also spawned deadly tornadoes. The National Guard is now on the scene helping with the cleanup there. And in Missouri, the powerful storms killed at least 7 people, with thousands of buildings either damaged or destroyed. A majority of those deaths were in the St. Louis area, which is now bracing for even more severe weather throughout the week. Meteorologist Michelle Grossman is standing by with the forecast. First, though, NBC News correspondent Shaquille Brewster has the latest from St. Louis.
Good morning. And yes, so much devastation across the region. Here in St. Louis, you see the impact of those 150-mile-an-hour winds from that EF3 tornado. Just look behind me at what it did to this one home. You see the complete siding torn off, debris scattered throughout the entire front lawn here. These are scenes that you're seeing not just block by block here, but really neighborhood by neighborhood. This was a tornado that the National Weather Service said overnight was on the ground for 26 miles, even extending into Illinois. The mayor overnight also saying that she thinks there's about $1 billion of damage here. So over the weekend, we saw a race to clean up, to move all the debris out of the streets, to start to restore power for many of these people. But this is a system that you saw impacting the entire region. The same system going into Kentucky, taking the lives of 19 people there. You hear the same stories of devastation, communities completely torn apart. Now, the issue here, especially here in St. Louis, is that we're expecting more severe weather later today. It's not raining yet, but it will be raining later this morning. And then this afternoon, you have forecasters saying there'll be another round of severe weather, another threat of potential tornadoes. 31 million Americans across the country will be under some severe weather threat today. So you have compounding impacts for folks here who, again, want to focus on the cleanup, want to focus on what's next and moving forward, but dealing with more threats for the time being. Back to you.
All right, Shaq, thank you.
Well, let's get an update now on the possibility of more severe weather on the way with your Morning News Now forecast.
Michelle Grossman is tracking everything for us. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, unfortunately, after a heartbreaking weekend, we are looking at the chance for more storms, not only today, also tomorrow, and then into Wednesday. So it's going to be another busy start to the work week. Right now, we are tracking some storms. It's pretty quiet right now. We're going to see them igniting later on this afternoon, especially into the evening hours once that daytime heating gets going. But we can still see lightning. We're hearing thunder, looking at heavy rain, and these are all possibilities as we go throughout this Monday. We're going to add in the addition of some strong storms, strong tornadoes once again. 31 million people at risk, you can see throughout the central and southern plains, into portions of the Ozarks, where you see the red and the orange, especially. That's where we could see some very strong storms. So places like Kansas City, Springfield, Oklahoma City, Fayetteville, Ardmore, we are looking at the chance for winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. They will cause damage, large hail, and also the chance of those large tornadoes, EF2 or greater, especially where you're looking at that hatched area. So Joplin, Tulsa, Lawton, those are places where you need to be weather aware today once again, unfortunately. Tomorrow, 26 million still impacted by the threat of severe storms, now moving into portions of the Tennessee Valley, the mid-Mississippi Valley, into the Ohio Valley. So lots of yellow shading there, orange shading. That's indicating where we could see those stronger storms. Again, everything's on the table. We could see winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Could see some hail once again. This is all likely, and also the chance of a few tornadoes that could be on the strong side. Nashville, Huntsville, Tupelo, Memphis could see some of those strong storms tomorrow. Lots of rainfall too, so that will lead to the chance of flooding, flash flooding. It's already so saturated from the weekend storm, so anything on top of that could cause that, in addition to the really heavy downpours. So we are talking anywhere from 1, 2, 3 greater inches of some rainfall. Where you see those darker colors, the reds, the oranges, the yellows, could see the heavy rainfall. We're going to be dry today in the Northeast. That rain moves into the forecast by Wednesday. This is what it looks like for today. Of course, the big story being the severe weather in the central and southern plains to the Ozarks. On the northern fringe of this, it's going to be cooler. So we're going to see the chance for some rain. We're not looking at the chance of severe storms into the northern plains, but some heavy rain in spots. Then to the south, it's sort of a temperature divide. We're looking at steamy conditions. This is aiding in the chance of some of these storms. We're looking at the chance of record-breaking temperatures as well in southern Texas, the Panhandle of Florida, along the Gulf Coast states, temperatures into the 80s and 90s. And this is why. There's that jet stream. It's dipped so far to the south and the southwest, and then sort of lifted up to parts of the Tennessee Valley, even into the Ohio Valley, really. So temperatures into the 90s in San Antonio. That's about 11 degrees above what is typical for this time of year, but it's really steamy too. We're kind of pulling that moisture off the Gulf, so the heat and also the moisture helping to kind of helping these storms later on this afternoon. This is what we're going to watch very closely. Memphis, New Orleans, Atlanta, temperatures into the upper 80s, well above normal for this time of year. Jacksonville, 98 degrees. That is 12 degrees above normal. So we're getting into record territory in some of these spots. The heat stays with us tomorrow, again, aiding in some of these storms. So temperatures into the 90s in Houston, 11 degrees above average, 91 degrees in Jackson, and we're looking at Savannah, 94 degrees. Mild temperatures into the northern part of the nation by Wednesday, so we're a little bit cooler this morning, tomorrow, but by midweek, we're going to raise those temperatures a bit. And then we're looking at temperatures in Charleston, West Virginia, into the 70s by Wednesday, and temperatures in Charlotte in the 80s by Wednesday. So, guys, this is going to be really busy. You need to be weather aware if you're living in those spots. Could see the storms today, and we're going to keep watching them on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. Back to you.
All right, Michelle, thank you very much.
The FBI has identified the man that investigators believe is responsible for a car bombing at a California fertility clinic over the weekend. The attack happened in the typically quiet desert community of Palm Springs. Investigators now think they know why the suspect did it, calling it an intentional act of terrorism. That man was killed while 4 others were injured. Now, for the first time, we're hearing from the father of the suspect. NBC News correspondent Jay Gray is live at the scene in Palm Springs with the very latest. Jay, good morning.
Hey there, good morning to you, Joe. And you can see still an active investigation going on, not only here, but about an hour away in 29 Palms as well at the suspect's home. The FBI saying that over the last couple of days, as you talk about, they have gathered evidence that leaves no doubt this was a terror attack.
2 days later,
like a war zone. I mean, everything's blown out.
Debris and damage stretches for miles.
This is probably the largest bombing scene that we've had in Southern California.
The FBI now saying this man, 25-year-old Guy Bartkus, is responsible for the car bomb attack at this Palm Springs fertility clinic. Investigators believe Bartkus died in what they describe as an intentional act of terror, pointing to writings, audio recordings, and social media posts outlining what they call anti-natalism views, a philosophy that argues having children is unethical because the unborn can't consent to a life that will include suffering.
Never known to believe anything like that before, no.
His father, in an interview with our Palm Springs NBC affiliate, says he was shocked to learn his son was a suspect, acknowledging the two have been estranged for years.
I always thought we might have a chance of getting back together. Haven't seen him in 12 years. And no, I'll never see him again.
Federal agents, including a bomb team, searching his home over the weekend. They say Bartkus was not on their radar before the attack, but are quick to point out, despite the magnitude of the blast.
We were able to save all of the embryos at this facility. Good guys 1, bad guys 0.
The clinic confirming there was no damage to the lab where eggs, embryos, and reproductive materials are stored.
Clearly, they won't be working out of the building here, but Joe, I can tell you that the staff at the clinic says they will be treating patients and fully operational later this morning, not letting the attack stop their work. They'll be working from a remote facility.
All right, Jay Gray. Jay, thank you so much. For more now, let's bring in retired FBI Special Agent Rob D'Amico. Rob, good to have you with us. So in that piece, we heard the FBI call this the largest bombing. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is set to hold a press briefing in just a few moments amid many headlines this morning. In a little less than an hour, the president is set to have a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. It's an effort to negotiate a ceasefire in Russia's long conflict with Ukraine, which Mr. Trump has called a bloodbath. Following that call, the president will then speak with Ukrainian President Zelensky.
This comes after the House Budget Committee advanced President Trump's multi-trillion-dollar bill to cut taxes and spending late last night. This was a crucial step forward for the party line bill after it was blocked by a group of hardline Republicans just 2 days ago. Now, it will need changes before it passes the full House. Speaker Mike Johnson said he wants the House to consider the bill before Memorial Day.
In a moment, we are going to go live right now, actually, to the White House press briefing where Secretary Leavitt is addressing these headlines.
And moving forward, she will continue to champion the well-being of our nation's children through her Be Best agenda. I know the president looks forward to signing that bill into law later this afternoon, and we will see you all there. In other news, the One Big Beautiful Bill passed the House Budget Committee last night, bringing it one step closer to final passage. The One Big Beautiful Bill is perfectly named because it represents a once-in-a-generation opportunity to deliver on the Make America Great Again agenda responsible for President Trump's landslide victory on November 5th. The America First policies in this bill are the reason why Republicans currently have the majority in Congress right now. Passing this bill is what voters sent Republicans to Washington to accomplish. And that's why it's essential that every Republican in the House and the Senate unites behind President Trump and passes this popular and essential legislative package. This bill will be the single most pro-small business, pro-family, and pro-American worker legislation ever. This bill will give Americans the largest tax cuts in our nation's history. When Republicans pass the bill, Americans will be keeping more of their hard-earned money and taking home much bigger paychecks. The One Big Beautiful Bill will deliver some of President Trump's central campaign promises. No tax on tips for our hardworking waiters, waitresses, and service workers. No tax on overtime for our law enforcement officers, our firefighters, and all those Americans who are putting in extra hours to make ends meet. And a large tax deduction on interest payments for Americans who purchase American-made cars. Despite desperate Democrat lies, the biggest beneficiary of this tax cut will be working-class Americans and their families. Americans earning between $30,000 and $80,000 per year will pay about 15% less in taxes after this legislation is passed. And according to a brand new paper from the White House Council of Economic Advisors, the average family with 2 children's take-home pay will be up to $13,000 higher because of the increase in wages and reductions in tax obligations. The CEA study also said that the average overtime worker receives a tax cut of roughly $2,000. Again, this is great news for our nurses, our police officers, and all those who work overtime to make ends meet across our country. Put simply, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill will be a boon for working-class America. This One Big Beautiful Bill is also pro-family. It will increase the child tax credit to $2,500 per child, establish optional savings account for newborn babies with a $1,000 credit added, and strengthen paid family leave. This bill also delivers historic tax relief to America's seniors by allowing middle and low-income Social Security recipients to deduct an additional $4,000 in payments from their taxable income. If Democrats get their way and the Trump tax cuts are not extended, Americans will face the largest tax hike in history to the tune of $4 trillion. Republicans must not side with Democrats in helping them raise taxes. The One Big Beautiful Bill also provides critical protections of Medicaid, which will strengthen and preserve the program for decades to come through common sense efforts to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse. Medicaid will no longer be used to pay for barbaric gender mutilation procedures on minor children. And the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are currently improperly receiving Medicaid benefits will be kicked off the program to preserve it for hardworking American citizens who need it. President Trump and Republicans are protecting Medicaid benefits for pregnant women, children, disabled individuals, low-income seniors and families, and the most vulnerable Americans in our society. And that's what Democrats are so angry about. Basic Medicaid protections that will stop the funding of transgender insanity and illegal aliens from ripping off American taxpayers. As you all know, over his first 4 months in office, President Trump ended the previous administration's open border crisis and secured our homeland in record time, all using executive authority. Now Congress needs to act. The One Big Beautiful Bill is the most significant investment in our nation's border patrol and law enforcement agents in our nation's history. The bill ensures that President Trump's popular and successful border security measures are made permanent. Republicans have the backs of Border Patrol and ICE agents who were put through hell over the past 4 years and have quickly worked to secure our southern border. And that's why this bill gives them more resources to do their jobs, including a $10,000 much-needed bonus to ICE agents and Border Patrol agents over the next 4 years. To provide those brave agents with desperately needed reinforcements on the ground, the bill allows for the hiring of thousands of new ICE personnel, customs officers, and Border Patrol agents. These significant hirings will empower President Trump to continue delivering on his promise to carry out the largest mass deportation in the history of our country. Again, that is a promise that Republicans made to American voters. It's a promise they were elected on, and it's a promise Republicans on Capitol Hill need to keep: secure our border. To supplement those efforts, the bill's funds will fund the completion of President Trump's signature border wall. As a result, 701 miles of primary wall, 900 miles of river barriers, 629 miles of secondary barriers, and 141 miles of vehicle and pedestrian barriers will be constructed when this bill passes, along with cutting-edge technology to secure our homeland from dangerous illegal alien invaders. This bill also advances our national security and defense interests by ensuring the United States military has the necessary resources to remain the strongest and most lethal fighting force in the world. The bill will provide resources for the construction of President Trump's Golden Dome to safeguard Americans from potential attacks, give the Coast Guard resources to build more modernized ships, and the Air Force resources to acquire better planes. If all of those incredible things were not enough, the Big Beautiful Bill also finally modernizes air traffic control in America, a bipartisan issue. The bill will allow President Trump to deliver on his promise to overhaul and update our air traffic control systems to keep Americans flying as safe and efficiently as possible. The previous administration failed to act and do this themselves, despite repeated warnings from the GAO, which has resulted in unacceptable delays at major airports like Newark that the Trump administration is working hard to address. When the One Big Beautiful Bill passes, we will replace the current antiquated system, the FAA will enhance safety in our skies, reduce delays, and power the future of air travel in the United States. That's just some of what this historic legislation will accomplish. It is absolutely essential that Republicans unite behind the One Big Beautiful Bill and deliver on President Trump's agenda. There is no time to waste. Americans gave Republicans a once-in-a-generation opportunity to course-correct our country over many wrongs over the past 4 years. And Americans are counting on Republicans to work as hard as President Trump is in this White House every day on Capitol Hill. Send this legislation to his desk as soon as possible for his signature. Here in our new media seat today, we have Liam Cosgrove, the White House correspondent for Zero Hedge. With that, Liam, please kick us off.
Thank you, Caroline. So my first question is on foreign policy.
Sure.
The president has made several moves towards peace in multiple fronts: India, Pakistan with the Houthis, talking with Iran and talking with Putin. Biden didn't even talk to Putin for the entire span of the war, which is crazy considering two nuclear powers were engaged in a proxy war. So I do admire these moves by the current president, I'll be honest. However, as of today, we are still funding both Israel's and Ukraine's wars. So can Americans expect to finally be done financing foreign wars at some point? Do you consider that one of the president's goals?
Well, I think I can summarize the president's foreign policy agenda with 2 words: America first. And that means putting the American people and the American taxpayer first. And that's why the president is moving as quickly as he possibly can and working overtime to end these conflicts in both Israel and in Gaza, and also the Russia-Ukraine war. As you all know, the president will be speaking with Putin at 10 o'clock. He plans to call President Zelensky when that call concludes. I spoke to the president about that call at 10 o'clock. I don't want to get ahead of those very important conversations, but of course you will hear directly from the president or me after those calls conclude today. So you can expect that. As for Israel and Gaza, the president continues to not only himself but his national security team engage in talks on both sides of this conflict. The president made it very clear to Hamas that he wanted to see all hostages released. And last week, when we were flying out of town, there was great news on that front with the return of Eden Alexander, who is the last remaining hostage in Gaza. So to answer your question, the president is always thinking about the American people, the American taxpayer first. He wants these conflicts to end, not just to save money, but most importantly, to save lives.
Thank you. And my only other question for you is, so over the weekend, President Trump posted to Truth Social a video highlighting what most people call the Clinton body count, which is the strange number of suicides that seem to happen in Clinton circles. I have a headline here from the Washington Post that said, Trump peddles false conspiracy theories tying the Clintons to several deaths. So I just wanted to highlight real quick, this wasn't in Trump's video, but this is from the Arkansas Times, and it's the death of Mark Middleton, who was a former Clinton White House aide, who was found dead on a Clinton Foundation property. And I'll just quote from the Arkansas Times. Middleton apparently shot himself in the chest with a shotgun and also hung himself from a tree with an extension cord. So I have no idea how somebody commits suicide that way, but if the Washington Post is here, maybe you can enlighten us as to how that was actually a suicide. So anyways, that's just a lead into my question about the most famous Clinton-related suicide, which is that of Jeffrey Epstein. There's still a lot of questions around that case. You've released phase 1 of the Epstein files. What was missing from that is any connection to his ties to intelligence agencies, and that's really the whole story, that not just trafficking young girls, but doing it on behalf of intelligence agencies, and even potentially as part of a blackmail ring with potential ties to the Israeli government. So for phase 2, when can we expect it? Will it have information pertaining to those aspects of the Epstein case?
I know the Attorney General has committed to releasing those files. I would defer you to the Department of Justice on her timeline, but when she has made a promise in the past, she has kept it, and I'm certain that she will in this case as well. Rachel.
Thanks so much, Caroline. The president set a 2-week deadline for Ukraine and Russia to negotiate a deal. That time is now up. Does the president intend to set a new deadline on this call with President Putin? And how much longer is he willing to give these talks?
Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of the specifics of the conversation the president will be having with President Putin in less than an hour this morning. But he has made clear throughout the entirety of this conflict, since he inherited it from Joe Biden. Don't forget, this is a war that began because of the previous administration's incompetence and weakness, and President Trump is working very hard to fix it. He has made it clear to both sides that he wants to see a peaceful resolution and a ceasefire as soon as possible. But as for specifics on a timeline, I won't get ahead of the president.
And just on the goals for this call in particular, is the goal to get Putin to agree to a ceasefire? Is the goal to lead to some sort of in-person negotiations with Putin and the president?
Well, I think, again, we'll see how the call goes. And the president has made it clear his goal is to see a ceasefire and to see this conflict come to an end. And he's grown weary and frustrated with both sides of the conflict. The president and his team have put an enormous amount of effort in solving this very complicated war that, again, began because of the last administration's weakness.
Does he still want to meet Putin personally?
I think the president would certainly be open to that, but let's see how this call goes today.
What's the status of the secondary sanctions package? The president's been talking about that. You haven't imposed them yet, but is that still on the table?
I think everything's on the table, yes. And again, I won't get ahead of the president in any commitments or decisions, but certainly it's something he's been looking at and discussing. Elena.
Hi, Ken. I want to ask you about the House budget bill. So does the president agree with Republicans behind this bill, that Medicaid work requirements should be implemented as soon as 2026.
So the president wants to preserve and protect Medicaid for Americans who this program was intended for, the most vulnerable in our society, pregnant women, low-income families, seniors, those who truly need these benefits. And it should be going to people who physically cannot work. We want to see able-bodied Americans at least working 20 hours per week, whether that's part-time or full-time, whether that's even looking for work or volunteering for 20 hours a week if they are receiving Medicaid. These are common sense provisions. These are common sense changes that were actually introduced by former Democrat President Clinton. They've been supported by every Democrat president since, including the previous president, Joe Biden. But again, these are common sense reforms to ensure that those that this program was intended for receive those benefits.
And then just a quick follow-up. Is the president okay with this bill adding to the deficit?
This bill does not add to the deficit. In fact, according to the Council of Economic Advisors, this bill will save $1.6 trillion. And the president absolutely understands and hears the concerns of fiscal conservatives and of Americans who want to get our fiscal house in order. That's what the intention of this bill is. There's $1.6 trillion worth of savings in this bill. That's the largest savings for any legislation that has ever passed Capitol Hill in our nation's history. The next bill that even comes close was $800 billion. That's less than half of the savings that we see in the One Big Beautiful Bill. And so the goal of this bill is to produce economic growth, to cut taxes, and to get our fiscal house in order. And this is the right step in the right direction towards doing that.
Thanks.
Edward.
Yes, thanks.
And then I'll go to you.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
I want to get the president's reaction to Moody's downgrading the credit rating of the United States.
Sure. Well, look, the president talked about this over the weekend. The Secretary of Treasury also talked about it. When you look at the world has confidence in the United States of America and our economy once again. The president just last week secured trillions of dollars in investments from countries in the Middle East. We have seen trillions of dollars of investments flowing into our economy since the president took office. That is because America or people around the world have confidence in the United States of America. And if you also just look at the raw economic data that we're seeing, last week when we were out of town, inflation dropped once again. Oil prices are dropping, gas prices are dropping. The president has added nearly 500,000 jobs to the American economy already. So there's a lot of optimism in this economy, and the president disagrees with that assessment.
And I want to ask you one more thing, if I could. On your Middle East trip, the United Arab Emirates is getting some of the most advanced AI chips, so there's agreements there. The UAE is the newest member of BRICS. Is there a concern from the president that those chips and the technology will pass through to China, India, Russia, and Iran?
Part of going to the Middle East was to ensure that the United States, that this part of the region, our Gulf partners, know that the United States of America is there for them again, and that they should be investing in the United States, not in China. And these AI agreements, particularly the one the Secretary of Commerce signed in the UAE, has security guarantees to ensure that China is not getting the advantage, but the United States is getting the advantage when it comes to AI, and that the UAE and the U.S. are working hand in hand together to invest in this space. So you read the agreements, there are security guarantees, and this was a great trip for the country, no doubt. Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel has said today that Israel will take control of all of Gaza. Is that a goal that President Trump is comfortable with or that he supports?
I'll have to talk to the president about those comments as they just came, I believe, from the prime minister this morning, and I'll let him speak on that. The president has made it very clear he wants to see this conflict in the region end. He wants all hostages to be released. He was pleased that Eden Alexander was returned home safely to his loving family. The president spoke with Eden directly while we were traveling to the Middle East last week. As for the prime minister's comments, I'll let the president himself respond to those. Sure.
Two questions. One, how involved does the president intend to be directly in talking to House members about the bill over the next couple of weeks or the next week?
Sure. Well, over the weekend, the president was in direct conversation and communication with the Speaker of the House. He's been very involved. He always is. He's willing to pick up the phone when he is asked to. So he'll continue to be very engaged in this process with both House members and his friends on the Senate side as well.
And on former President Biden's cancer diagnosis, the president put out a very nice message on Truth Social. Has he talked to President Biden directly? Does he intend to call? What does he intend to say directly?
Not to my knowledge. I don't believe they have spoken, but I'm sure the president would be open to doing that. I spoke to him last night about the former president's cancer diagnosis, and the statement that he put out was the initial reaction he had with me on the phone as well. Peter.
Follow up on former President Biden. White House doctors may have missed the early stages of his prostate cancer. So is President Trump worried about the quality of care that presidents get here?
Not as far as President Trump is concerned. The White House physician we have here is phenomenal, and the team of physicians that take care of the president, particularly at Walter Reed Medical Center, are great. The president had his physical recently, as you know. He had perfect results. He's in very good shape. I think those of you who traveled to the Middle East with us last week can attest to the president's endurance. And by the way, I will add, we returned home from a very long and tiring trip last week, and on Saturday, where was the president? In the Oval Office working all day. He doesn't stop, he doesn't quit, he's in great health, and he trusts his physicians.
Two more things. Putin ghosted everybody at these peace talks last week. As President Trump phones him today to try to figure out an end to the Ukraine war, does he think that Putin is the good guy or the bad guy?
I'll let the president speak on that conversation later. He's made his feelings about both sides of this war quite clear throughout it. He wants to see it end.
And
Annie,
the last one, what does President Trump mean when he says that Taylor Swift is no longer hot?
Look, he is speaking about Taylor Swift's political views and how perhaps it has impacted the support of the American public for her work, and I will leave it at that. Annie, go ahead.
Thanks so much, Carolyn. I'm just going back one more time to the White House Medical Office, because there seems to be some question about this with regard to President Biden's screening. Can you say whether or not President Trump is screened for prostate cancer as part of his physical?
To the best of my understanding, he is, but we can certainly check in with the White House physician and go back and look at that physical report.
And then just one other question. Recently, Stephen Miller at the White House made some comments about considering suspending habeas corpus. And I'm curious if there's any update on how the White House is exploring that option to enact the president's agenda.
I don't have any update at this time, but I can check in with our Deputy Chief of Staff. Mary Margaret, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. Given the ongoing revelations about the former president's mental acuity and how staff and media covered that up, especially with the release of this book, 2 days, I think, is there any interest in further scrutiny of Kevin O'Connor, the former president's physician?
I'll let the president speak on that. I spoke to the president again about the former president's health diagnosis last night, and he wanted to extend his warmest wishes to the former president and his family. But as for any further action, I'll let the president speak on that first. Michelle.
Vice President Vance's meeting with Zelensky. Can you share any more information on that?
My understanding was it was a good meeting, a productive meeting, and we're grateful that the vice president did it and that he also went to the Pope's first Mass in Rome. I also have an update on that. The vice president passed along a letter to the Pope from the president and from the First Lady, extending their warm wishes and inviting them to the White House as soon as they possibly can come. Michelle.
On Iran, Steve Witkoff said yesterday that continued enrichment is a red line for the U.S. The Iranian foreign minister says that's going to continue no matter what. How committed is the U.S. to that red line, and what's the next step for the next round of talks?
We are 100% committed to that red line. The President, Special Envoy Witkoff, Secretary Rubio have made that incredibly clear, not just to the American public, but also in those discussions that Special Envoy Witkoff has had directly with the Iranians.
And the next round of talks?
I don't have an update for you, but we can get one. To the back row. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. South Africa's president says he's going to come to the White House to meet with President Trump on Wednesday. What are the president's expectations for that trip? And South Africa's president recently said he believes the folks that have been resettled here recently are cowards running away from problems in South Africa. Does the White House have a response to that?
So I did see the South African president put out that statement. I want to confirm on our end with our Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, and we'll get back to you on that. Monica.
Thanks, Caroline. You mentioned the President and the First Lady are signing the historic Take It Down Act this afternoon. I'm curious to know, what are some of the repercussions or consequences for these online platforms or perpetrators that won't comply with the act?
Well, what this bill does, it takes the initial step to ensure that prosecutors are able to take down, that's why it's called the Take It Down Act, platforms that are allowing this sexually explicit content on their platform. So it gives them more leeway to go after them as they see fit. But as for specific repercussions, I would defer you to the Department of Justice of how they plan to implement this bill once it is signed later today. Brian.
Yes, thank you. You said in your opening statement, you talked about this MAGA baby savings account. Exactly how would that work? Who would be eligible for it? I'm assuming women would be eligible for that.
Yes. So one of the provisions in the One Big Beautiful Bill, as I said, this is a very pro-family piece of legislation. Not only does it increase the child tax credit, but it also includes MAGA baby savings accounts for children that are born before January 1st, 2024, under 8 years old, U.S. citizens, and have at least one parent with a valid Social Security number. And when this tax provision becomes law, the child, if the parents seek to do this, will be set up with a savings account. Essentially, it's a 401k for a newborn baby. And child's relatives, their parents, can contribute up to $5,000 per year of after-tax dollars annually to that account. And then later in the baby's life, at age 25, savings account holders can withdraw up to the full balance of the account. Upon reaching 30, the account holders can access the full balance of the account for any purpose desired. So it's a great initiative for new parents, new mothers who want to set up this savings account for their children. Ouija.
Thank you, Caroline. President Trump and his top economic aides have repeatedly said that Americans will not pay the cost of tariffs. In fact, last week, Lutnick said people have to drop the, quote, silly arguments that consumers would pay the cost. But over the weekend, as you know, the president posted that Walmart should eat the tariffs and not charge the value customer anything. I'll be watching, and so will your customers. So does he acknowledge that if companies don't absorb the full cost, Americans will have to pay?
Well, first of all, the CEO of Walmart made those comments about the tariffs on an earnings call where CEOs, I believe, are legally obligated to give the most dire warnings and forecasts to their investors and stakeholders. The reality is, as the president has always maintained, Chinese producers will be absorbing the cost of these tariffs. And that is why China was so quick to hustle to the negotiating table with the United States of America. They need our markets. They need our consumers. And I would again point you to the inflation report that came out last week showing that inflation is declining in large part because energy prices are dropping across the board in this country because of the president's robust energy agenda that he has taken since January 20th. So the president is committed to ensuring that prices remain low for American consumers, and he maintains the position that foreign countries will absorb these tariffs.
What does he mean by "I'll be watching" to Walmart?
He'll be watching, seeing what they're doing. Jennifer.
On the gift plane from Qatar, three things. Is there a timeline for the U.S. receiving that plane? Do you know how long it will take to retrofit the plane to presidential standards? And thirdly, has the intelligence community, security folks, have they weighed in on whether that plane can actually be secured to presidential standards?
I'm glad you brought up this question because I was watching the American press spew a lot of misinformation about the plane donation last week when we were abroad. Let's be very clear. The government of Qatar, the Qatari family, has offered to donate this plane to the United States Air Force, where that donation will be accepted according to all legal and ethical obligations. It will be retrofitted to the highest of standards by the Department of Defense and the United States Air Force. This plane is not a personal donation or a gift to the President of the United States. And everyone who wrote that last week should go and correct their stories because this is a donation to our country and to the United States Air Force. As for a timeline, because it is the United States Air Force that is accepting the plane, I would defer you to them for specifics because the president, frankly, has nothing to do with it. It's the Air Force's project to take on. Sure.
Thanks so much, Caroline. Did the president call fiscal conservatives who were hesitant to vote for the big, beautiful bill? And if so, what did they say? What did he say?
I don't reveal the president's private discussions unless he gives me the liberty to, but he has been engaged in this process. He spoke to the Speaker of the House, and he will continue to make those phone calls if it's necessary for him. Sure.
Thank you, Caroline.
I'll go to both of you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Any updates on Greenland? Will the president be making any trips, and do we have any details you can share with us?
I don't have any future foreign trips to read out for you. We just returned home from one. But the president maintains the reasoning for Greenland's strategic purposes in the Arctic, and he continues to remain committed to the idea of obtaining Greenland in whatever means we can to advance our national security interests in the region.
Sure. Thank you, Caroline. I have a question. Was Lebanon part of the discussions during the Middle East tour, and did you meet with any Lebanese representatives?
To my knowledge, the president did not meet with any representatives from Lebanon, although he did talk about the election that they recently had there and how he hopes that Lebanon can come to a more peaceful place in their country and that we drive out Hezbollah, Iranian-backed Hezbollah proxies in Lebanon to ensure peace and prosperity in that country and also for the greater Middle Eastern region. And I would just add to that before I wrap up, because the president's call will begin in a few minutes. The president's historic tour to the Middle East last week truly reset our foreign policy agenda in that region. I think actually, in fact, the Washington Post had a headline, President Trump remakes U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. And that's absolutely true. He took a courageous and bold step to lift sanctions on Syria. He strengthened our ties with our Gulf partners, and he put Iran into a very difficult position because the United States of America is back. And I will summarize the president's trip with an anecdote that I heard directly from a member of one of the foreign delegations. I asked him how hopeful their country was when they learned President Trump won the election. And he told me when President Trump won the election, it was like the lights turned on in a dark room. For the past 4 years to the rest of the world, America was dark. We were unresponsive. We did not pick up the phone. We did not return calls. All of that has changed under the leadership of this president. And I think the world saw that last week with this historic and wildly successful trip. And the work continues. The president will be speaking to President Putin at 10 a.m. and we'll have a readout for you after that call. And we'll see you in the Rose Garden at 3 o'clock. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Caroline. All right, that was White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt holding a press briefing on a very busy Monday morning here in Washington, covering a wide range of topics. In just under 20 minutes, President Trump is expected to hop on a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin, the goal to try and get some sort of ceasefire, some sort of peace deal between Russia and Ukraine amid the long-going war there. Asked what the goals were for that phone call, Leavitt said, we'll see how the call goes. She said that he's weary and frustrated with both sides. Also asked whether the president would be open to a meeting with Putin, and she thought he might be open to meeting him personally, but we'll see how the call goes. After speaking with President Putin, then President Trump will also be speaking with Ukrainian President Zelensky. Another big issue that we heard the press secretary talk about there is what's been called by Trump the big, beautiful bill. That is the tax and immigration bill, which cleared a major hurdle, the House Budget Committee yesterday. Now this bill moves forward to the full House. A lot of questions over what this is going to mean for Medicaid, what this means for the deficit. We'll dive into it in a moment with White House senior correspondent Gabe Gutierrez. And, of course, another huge issue this morning is the revelation late yesterday that former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. We know President Trump did put out a statement yesterday saying he was saddened to hear about the diagnosis, that he and Melania were extending their warmest and best wishes. The press secretary is saying today that, to the best of her knowledge, President Trump has not spoken with former President Biden yet, and that asked about whether there's concerns about the president's care when it comes to being treated by the White House. She says that the president trusts his physician. She was also asked if the president has been screened for prostate cancer, and she said, to the best of her knowledge, he has been treated for prostate cancer. It was a wide-ranging press briefing this morning that hit on everything from those important issues to right-wing conspiracy theories, and even Taylor Swift came up for a moment. We want to delve into all of it here with our senior White House correspondent, Gabe Gutierrez, who's going to be joining us in just a moment. What we will focus on is the House Budget Committee passing last night a crucial step forward for this party line bill that was initially blocked by hardline Republicans just 2 days ago. It is still going to need some changes before it passes the House, but Speaker Mike Johnson says he does want to try and consider the bill before Memorial Day, a week from today. Let's bring in Gabe now. Gabe, what major headlines come out of this press briefing today, especially when it does come to this spending bill?
Hi there, Joe. Well, what stuck out to me is what is happening in the next few moments with President Trump speaking with Russian President Putin, a very high-stakes call that is scheduled to start at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And this comes after Vice President Vance, just a short time ago, in speaking with reporters in Italy, said that the administration was more than open to walking away from these peace talks and that the president would ask President Trump would ask President Putin whether he was serious. Now, Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, during this briefing was very careful not to get ahead of the president, but said that the president viewed this as a very important call, that he was still open to meeting with Vladimir Putin in the future, as he has said. But there's a lot riding on this call, and I think the White House is wondering what will happen as these peace talks move forward, or whether the U.S. will end up walking away from these peace talks. Vice President Vance also meeting with President Zelensky over the weekend. Secondly, as you were discussing, Joe, with the spending bill that is working its way through Congress, that vote late last night, moving it forward, and the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, touting this bill, calling it, as the president has repeatedly, one big, beautiful bill. And Joe, this is really key to the president's agenda to be able to fund border security, as well as a host of other priorities. The White House press secretary Leavitt, she insisted that this would not add to the deficit, as its critics have been pointing out. And then another thing that came up during the briefing is, of course, the president's reaction to former President Biden's cancer diagnosis. The president writing on social media yesterday when he found out the news, giving well wishes to the Biden family. So those three things stuck out to me. The Putin call that's scheduled to start in just a short time. Also, the negotiations in Congress over this spending bill, and the initial reaction to former President Biden's cancer diagnosis, Joe.
Gabe, I do want to ask you a little bit more about that budget bill, because it is making so many headlines. It's going to impact so many people. We heard Secretary Leavitt say that it protects Medicaid, but there are many people who are worried about this accelerated timeline for work requirements, that many people could lose their Medicaid coverage because of some of these changes that could be passed. Is this going to be one of the major focal points, one of the major debates surrounding this bill now?
Yeah, certainly. And there's a lot of concerns when Americans hear about the Medicaid benefits potentially being cut. Leavitt comes back and says that what they're focused on is removing undocumented immigrants from getting those sorts of health benefits and preserving Medicaid for Americans. And also, she quickly shifts to all the other priorities that are involved in this bill, including when it comes to border security, building more wall, hiring more ICE agents as well. And yes, the White House insists that this will be beneficial to the vast majority of Americans, and that Republicans, really it was a plea for Republicans to remain united here. Clearly over the weekend, some of the more fiscally conservative Republicans basically came on board after after Leavitt said that the president was personally involved in speaking with House Speaker Mike Johnson, and also plans to be very involved in these negotiations over the coming days and weeks as this bill moves forward. But the White House knows they have a window here in the next few months to really move their agenda forward. And as the midterms come up for next year, they realize that this is a small window of time to make the biggest changes possible. So again, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt basically issuing a call for Republicans to stay united here, Joe.
And real quick, Gabe, is it realistic to get this bill passed before Memorial Day?
You know, that is the major question right now. There's a lot of skepticism that that could happen in such a short time frame, but a lot may come down to how involved President Trump gets and whether he speaks one-on-one to many of these lawmakers, as he really has done before. Certainly, there are some Republicans that think it can get done in the next few days. Many others who think they'll need a longer timetable.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez reporting from the White House, and stay tuned for continuing coverage of all things out of Washington throughout the day here on NBC News Now.
Welcome back. President Trump says he will speak on the phone with Russian President Vladimir Putin later today about ending the war with Ukraine. After that, he says he will talk with Ukraine's President Zelensky in the hopes of bringing the two sides together. In a post on Truth Social, the president said he will try to stop the, quote, bloodbath, adding he hopes it will be a productive day and that a ceasefire will take place. Now, the calls come after Russia carried out a new wave of drone attacks on Ukraine over the weekend. Ukraine's Air Force says Russia fired more than 270 drones targeting multiple locations, though many were intercepted or likely electronically jammed. However, Kyiv's regional governor says a woman was killed in the attack and 3 others, including a 4-year-old child, were wounded.
In other international news, on Sunday, Pope Leo XIV was officially installed as the 267th pontiff of the Roman Catholic Church. He celebrated an outdoor mass at the Vatican to an estimated crowd of more than 200,000 people. That includes world leaders like Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez has more.
A new chapter for the Catholic Church begins with the formal inauguration of Pope Leo XIV, the first American pope greeting the crowd of about 200,000. Many from the U.S., some waving the flag of his hometown, Chicago.
You could just see people like really soaking it all in, and you could certainly see, people being very moved.
Leo receiving the fisherman's ring, given to every pope at the start of their pontificate and destroyed upon their death. The gospel chanted by Deacon Nicholas Monin of South Bend, Indiana. We met him hours before the Mass.
Are you nervous? I'm really not. I feel pretty at peace.
The 27-year-old becomes a priest next month and planned to ask the Pope for his blessing.
And I want to ask for his prayers as I begin my priestly ministry and ask him to pray for me and for my diocese.
In his homily, Leo calling for unity in the church and peace in a world scarred by hatred, violence, and prejudice. And among the gathered world leaders, a small act of peacemaking. Vice President Vance meeting with Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky after Kyiv accused the Kremlin of a huge drone attack. The White House says they discussed ending the bloodshed in Ukraine. It was their first encounter since this fiery showdown in the Oval Office. A new pope aiming to be both pastor and peacemaker.
Our thanks to Raf Sanchez for that report. An extensive ground operation by Israeli defense forces is underway in Gaza this morning. Prime Minister Netanyahu said that Israel is, quote, moving toward full control of the Gaza Strip. Just a few hours ago, the IDF ordered the evacuation of the enclave's second largest city.
This follows a day of heavy airstrikes on Gaza. According to the Gaza-run health ministry, over 100 people were killed overnight, and the last functioning hospital in the north of the Strip has shut down.
NBC News international correspondent Matt Bradley is live in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Matt, good morning. So just what can you tell us now about this latest ground operation by the IDF?
Yeah, well, it has a name. It's called Gideon's Chariots, and actually this ground operation is kind of fulfilling what we've already heard from the IDF and from Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, and his top deputies and his cabinet, saying that now they're going to be taking a different approach to the Gaza Strip. No longer are they going to be taking territory, using it to operate and to attack Hamas, and then relinquishing that territory. Now it's going to be about occupying the entire Gaza Strip, taking territory and holding it in a bid, they say, to finally defeat Hamas once and for all. Now, we've also heard at the same breath, as you mentioned, that aid could be allowed in. So there is a big difference here. But what we've been seeing over the past week is some of the most vicious attacks by the Israelis against the Palestinian enclave of the Gaza Strip. They say targeting Hamas, but folks in the Gaza Strip, particularly the Ministry of Health there in the Gaza Strip, which is run by Hamas, They have said that hundreds of people, most of them civilians, have been killed. The IDF said that they have struck well more than 600 targets in just the past week, kind of tenderizing the ground for what now looks like a major ground offensive. Guys.
Matt, even before this, we know that humanitarian aid has been limited, but Israel said yesterday it would allow a small amount of aid into Gaza after that nearly 3-month-long blockade. Has any aid entered the enclave since this announcement?
We don't know that quite yet. We understand from agencies, from Reuters and Associated Press and other agencies who are on the ground in the Kerem Shalom crossing, they reported that some trucks had been moving in and out of the Kerem Shalom crossing. Again, this is something that we hadn't seen in many weeks because about 160,000 tons of food aid had been waiting at those crossing points for the word to enter. And as we said, it's been about 11 weeks since the Israelis had allowed any aid into the Gaza Strip. And I'm not just talking about food, also water, medical care, and any other, basically fuel as well, which is very vital for running hospitals and other operations, for humanitarian operations in the Gaza Strip. So there was a dire need for any sort of outside aid, and now it looks like we might see a trickle, as you mentioned. Benjamin Netanyahu himself said that this is going to be just the bare minimum amount of aid to keep people alive. And he said that the only reason he did it, he said this in a statement yesterday, was because of pressure from allies like the United States, folks in the U.S., top politicians who normally defend Israel, saying they don't want to see a mass famine in the Gaza Strip and that they'll defend Israel up until the end, but they can't defend a man-made famine in the Gaza Strip, which aid agencies and advocacy groups had said the enclave was on the brink of seeing. Guys.
Matt, I know you also recently sat down with the parents of released hostage Don Alexander. I mean, what are they saying about this long awaited reunion and just how he's doing?
Yeah, I mean, this was a really emotional interview. This is the first time that we've been hearing from the Alexanders ever since their son was released last week. He was the last remaining living American hostage in the Gaza Strip, and now he's free. I spoke with his parents about all of the moments that led up to this and how they feel now and how Adon is doing now, and here's what they told me.
It was unbelievable. So he looks a little bit thinner, weaker, paler, but still it's Adon. It's the same laughter, the same smile, the same kind eyes, and I don't know, this is our boy, It's amazing.
One of the tunnels collapsed on him, so we consider ourselves lucky that he survived.
So, as you can see, this was a harrowing experience, not just for Adon himself, but for his parents and all the folks here in Israel and in Tenafly, New Jersey, his hometown, who were waiting to hear that he was finally free. Guys.
Just see how relieved his parents are. Matt Bradley, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Coming up, erasing history, a Smithsonian Museum removing dozens of artifacts from its exhibits.
When I saw the executive order, I wondered if they maybe knew something was going to happen.
Up next, why some are questioning the timing of the changes and what the museum is saying now. This is Morning News Now. We're back with a growing controversy in Washington over one of the Smithsonian museums. The National Museum of African American History and Culture has been removing dozens of artifacts related to slavery and civil rights from its exhibits.
It comes after President Trump signed an executive order targeting that Smithsonian. But the museum and the White House insist the changes are unrelated to Trump's order. NBC's Yamiche Alcindor spoke to a few people who donated artifacts that have been removed. They say they are skeptical of the museum's explanation.
Before sunrise in Baltimore, the start of a long day for Reverend Robert Turner.
Motivated, anxious.
Turner walking 43 miles from his church to the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture on the National Mall.
Bless this nation to not be afraid of our own history.
The 14-hour journey in protest of what he says is the erasing of important history. The context? Decades-old artifacts related to slavery and civil rights are rotating out of exhibits at the museum as a potential White House review looms large. In late March, President Trump signed an executive order demanding, in part, the museum take down any exhibits that, quote, divide Americans based on race. But now the White House says that it's washing its hands of any involvement in changes at the museum.
If you don't know the horrors and literally the hell that we went through and the harm we went through, you may not see a need for a parent.
And Democrats in Congress sounding the alarm, signing a letter and introducing legislation to protect civil rights landmarks. NBC News went inside the museum and found at least 32 artifacts currently removed, including Harriet Tubman's Book of Hymns. Gospels believed to have been sung as she led enslaved people to freedom through the Underground Railroad. And the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, the memoir of one of the most important leaders in the abolitionist movement. Both items gifted to the Smithsonian. The institution pushing back on critics, saying on their website, quote, claims that objects have been removed for reasons other than adherence to standard loan agreements or museum practices are false. It also lists 11 new artifacts coming on display later this month. The museum reiterating in an email to NBC News that rotating objects is normal. But Liz Brazelton, the owner of a diary connected to the Oscar-winning film 12 Years a Slave, isn't convinced. She's the great-great-granddaughter of the lawyer who helped free Solomon Northam, a free black man who was kidnapped and forced into slavery.
I grew up with the diaries. My mother had the diaries. The most important thing in his diaries was the fact that he did help free this man who was a free man of color.
She gave one of his diaries to the museum in September 2015 on a 10-year loan. But before the end of the term, the museum sent her a letter in March saying, quote, we have decided to move ahead with the return a bit early to coincide with our internal gallery rotation schedule. The letter, sent 2 weeks before President Trump signed the executive order targeting the Smithsonian, raising a red flag for Brazelton.
When I saw the executive order, I wondered if they maybe knew something was going to happen and they rotated it out early because it was about slavery, that entire exhibit.
The Smithsonian declined NBC's request for an interview, but repeated in an email it was a scheduled rotation and was done to, quote, allow for necessary rest following an extended display period. Were you ever told between 2016 and 2025 that your family's lecture was ever taken off of exhibit or rotated out?
No, as far as I know, it stayed in the exhibit until recently.
Prominent pastor and civil rights leader, Reverend Amos C. Brown, lent 2 of his books to the museum when it opened in 2016, including a Bible he carried during protests with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
How were you feeling when the museum opened up?
I was feeling that through this museum, America will see me, will see Black people.
But earlier this year, the Smithsonian sent him an email saying they would return his books. The museum called it a standard practice, adding the loan expired in May. Brown calls it an excuse, telling us the museum always chose to renew until now.
I feel it to be very much inhumane, disrespectful, and downright unjust.
After his public pushback, the museum offered to keep the books permanently, according to a letter reviewed by NBC News. The broader controversy becoming increasingly political. House Democrats are demanding the vice president, who sits on the museum board, not to overhaul it. In a letter saying this flagrant attempt to erase Black history is unacceptable and must be stopped.
To tell the truth means to share both the good and the bad. And if we don't tell our stories, who will tell our stories?
We reached out to the White House for comment. An official tells us, quote, the White House had no involvement in removing any exhibit from the National Museum of African American History and Culture or any other Smithsonian institution. They did this on their own accord. Reverend Turner still walking to shine a brighter spotlight on the museum's artifacts getting pulled from displays.
That story cannot die. I don't care who's in the White House.
Raising the question of whether and how much Black history should be rotating with the country's politics. Yamiche Alcindor, NBC News.
Coming up, controversy across the border for one of YouTube's biggest stars.
Up next, why the Mexican government wants compensation for content after giving Mr. Beast permission to film. Morning News Now. We'll be right back. Welcome Welcome back. One of YouTube's biggest content creators, Mr. Beast, is at the center of some major controversy this morning. The YouTuber was granted permission by the Mexican government to film inside ancient Mayan ruins, but used the published video to promote one of his products. Well, now the Mexican government is seeking compensation. NBC News correspondent Kathy Park has more.
We just got dropped off on this 2,000-year-old ancient temple.
Mexican authorities suing a company they say helped YouTube megastar Mr. Beast produce this now viral video.
Why is this not in a museum? Why is a YouTuber holding this? Get this away from me.
Titled, I Explored 2,000-Year-Old Ancient Temples. The video has racked up over 60 million views in less than a week.
This is the door to the inside of this massive Mayan temple.
Authorities say the video taken inside the nation's ancient pyramids violated the terms of government permissions.
We're gonna visit this bad boy.
In the video, Mr. Beast, whose real name is James Donaldson, explores ancient Mayan cities in southeastern Mexico.
Can I take one home?
Well, I do. We're going to jail.
I would go to jail?
Yeah, sure.
At one point, the influencer, who has 395 million subscribers on YouTube, surprised at the level of access.
I can't believe the government's letting us do this.
And in another moment, advertising his snack product.
The only Mayan-approved snack on the planet.
In the video's caption, the internet celebrity thanks Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History for allowing him to film. But the agency who filed the suit saying in a statement that it gave the firm representing Mr. Beast, Full Circle Media, permission to film at the sites but not monetize the video, and that they are now demanding compensation for damages. Adding, the INAH condemns those who, for commercial gain and private profit, dare to distort the value of archaeological sites, which are a legacy of our indigenous cultures and the pride of our nation. Full Circle Media did not respond to NBC News' request for comment. A statement released on Mr. Beast's behalf by a source close to him, saying in part, this video was meant to highlight these treasured Mayan sites in Mexico. No advertisement material was shot at any archaeological sites overseen by INAH. So it's unfortunate that this has turned into a political issue. On Wednesday, Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum saying her administration will look into the conditions under which the YouTuber was granted access and what sanctions might apply if any permit was violated.
Our thanks to Kathy Park for that report. Well, Mr. Beast posted a response on X yesterday saying he had great respect for Mexican and Mayan culture while denying he had been sued. He says the video was filmed with full permits and followed guidelines.
We've got some money headlines now. Southwest is in the clear after the Justice Department nixed a lawsuit that was filed back in January.
CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with more on that and other financial news. Hey, Silvana, good morning.
Savannah, Joe, good morning. Happy Monday to you guys. All right, well, the Justice Department drops a lawsuit against Southwest Airlines, accusing it of illegally operating flights that were chronically delayed. So the government filed the suit in the final days of the Biden administration in January as part of efforts to probe airlines over whether they misled passengers by setting unrealistic schedules. So the suit focused on 2 Southwest flights the government alleges had persistent delays for months. Southwest had said the claims were not credible. More than half of Americans plan to spend less on travel, dining, or live entertainment this year as rising costs weigh on their wallets. A new Bankrate survey finds nearly 40% plan to spend less on dining out, and roughly the same will cut back on concerts, theater, and sporting events, as well as their travel spending. Only a third plan to spend more in at least one discretionary category this year, with roughly a third saying they're willing to go into debt to do so. And wealthy shoppers are splurging on jewelry even as others pull back, as long as it's the right brand. That's been positive news for Richemont. That's the Swiss luxury goods maker known for brands like Cartier and Piaget. Now, the company reporting strong quarterly sales last week, led by double-digit growth in its jewelry business. Richemont also saying it won't hike prices it can't sustain, in contrast to warnings from other high-end rivals, guys.
All right, Savannah, thank you so much.
Got it.
We're coming up a heartwarming story for a heartbroken mother.
When we come back, how a group of strangers came together to help her celebrate her late son's birthday with the trip of a lifetime. This is Morning News Now. Welcome Welcome back. Saturday Night Live wrapped up its historic 50th season over the weekend, and of course it did not disappoint. Scarlett Johansson took the reins for the 7th time, making her the most frequent female host in the show's history. She made a wildly hilarious cameo in Weekend Update's famous and often cringeworthy end-of-the-season joke swap between her husband Colin Jost and Michael Che. Bad Bunny lit up Studio 8H with 2 musical performances from his new album, even pulling double duty, stealing the show in a few sketches. Now, with emotional cast moments and creator Lorne Michaels confirming he is not done yet. SNL wrapped up its golden anniversary with A Night to Remember, and no doubt many more to come. I feel like the 75th anniversary, Lorne Michaels will still be running it, and Kenan Thompson will still be in the cast.
You know, I actually feel like those 2 predictions could come true. Yeah. All right, Joe, thanks so much. Well, finally this hour, a story about the power of the internet that allowed strangers to come together to help a family in the wake of tragedy. Erica Hernandez lost one of her sons unexpectedly 2 years ago, and it was her dream to bring a group of his friends on a trip to celebrate his birthday this year. NBC News Now anchor Hallie Jackson has their story.
Hey there, we've got a good one for you about the kindness of strangers helping to give one mom the trip of a lifetime.
This is what fun looks like. That's Erica Hernandez at Universal Studios in Orlando.
We're making it happen, baby.
On the rides,
You're the best.
meeting Spider-Man and making memories to last a lifetime with a different kind of family.
It was absolutely amazing. It was emotional. It was fun and everything you can possibly imagine.
The Florida mom taking this action-packed trip to honor her son, Javon, who died unexpectedly 2 years ago. But this year, she's celebrating his birthday with the friends who loved him most, her bonus kids.
How would you say these bonus kids have impacted your life, Erica?
I gotta say, they keep me young, that's for sure. They each carry a piece of Javon, and when they come together, they bring him home. And they love to be with one another.
She got the ball rolling with a simple ask.
My dream is to be able to take my son Naz and all of my bonus children to Universal Studios to celebrate Javon's birthday.
What happened next? The real surprise.
Thank you, Taco! Eat pizza!
The response, overwhelming.
Thank you, Instacart.
With companies and people online pitching in to make the trip a reality.
The outpour of love and support that came back to me was phenomenal. Something I did not expect at all.
The heart of a crew.
From T-shirts
You want just an entree size?
to dinners, a week of joy and healing.
He loves hugging Mama.
Can you reflect on that? What this meant to you?
It reminded me that my son is always here. It showed me that he's making an impact, even though he's physically not here.
A testament to the bonds of friendship and the kindness of strangers.
Words can never express the amount of gratitude that's in my heart. I'm literally getting chills. This trip is not the end. It is just the beginning of what's coming in honor of Javon.
Just an incredibly special moment for her and for those bonus kids.
Oh,
back to you.
Really. Hallie Jackson, thank you for bringing us that.
That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us, so the news continues right now. Good morning, and thank you for starting your week with us. I'm Savannah Sellers.
I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, prayers for former President Joe Biden pouring in from the White House and beyond. His office revealing a prostate cancer diagnosis over the weekend, cancer that has now spread to his bones. We've got new reactions from the current administration as the Biden family weighs a path forward. Also this morning, more severe weather on tap for millions across the Midwest. After a wild weekend of storms, at least 28 people are dead, dozens more injured, and the danger is not over yet. We've got the latest on the urgent search and rescue efforts in the region that could be washed out by yet another round of rain today. Plus, the federal investigation underway into that deadly disaster on New York's East River over the weekend. What officials say caused this surreal scene, a Mexican Navy ship colliding with the Brooklyn Bridge, killing 2 crew members. And a little later, we're going to dig into an eye-opening new study on sleep, revealing more than half of us choose to snooze when that morning alarm goes off. But are those precious extra minutes of Z's actually the key to a more restful night of, well, rest? We're going to chat with an expert. Are you a snoozer?
I was just going to ask you. I don't know if we've ever talked about that.
Like 2 to 3 times a morning.
Same. I'm a snoozer big time. But what makes me a little crazy is when it's inverse, and for whatever reason this hardly ever happens. If my husband has to get up before me,
why are you doing this?
I'm like, you're ruining my sleep, so it's not very fair.
We'll reignite the debate coming up in a little bit. Let's begin this hour with that major news. Former President Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis. His office says that he is fighting an aggressive form of prostate cancer, which has spread to his bones. Mr. Biden and his family are said to be reviewing treatment options with his doctors.
A little earlier, the former president posted this message on X. He said, quote, "Cancer touches us all, like so many of you. Jill and I have learned that we are strongest in the broken places. Thank you for lifting us up with love and support." NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez has the latest here.
Joan, Savannah, good morning. Former President Biden is at home in Wilmington, Delaware, as his family considers his treatment options. Here at the White House, the current president is wishing his one-time political opponent a successful recovery.
This morning, well wishes are streaming in for former President Biden after his personal office revealed the 82-year-old has an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread to his bones. The diagnosis came Friday after Biden had reported urinary symptoms, which led doctors to find a small nodule on his prostate.
Once the cancer has spread to the bones, it's no longer curable, but it's very treatable and very controllable.
President Trump posting that he and the First Lady are saddened to hear about Biden's diagnosis and wishing him a fast and successful recovery. Former President Obama and former Vice President Kamala Harris also sharing well wishes. Cancer has devastated the Biden family before. As vice president, he led a moonshot effort to find cures for the disease after his son Beau died from an aggressive form of brain cancer in 2015.
One of the most devastating words anyone can hear, and it's not hyperbole, is cancer.
In 1988, then Senator Biden battled 2 brain aneurysms that threatened to end his political career. His most recent White House medical exam at Walter Reed was in February of last year when a physician assessed he was fit for duty. But during his presidency, Biden faced mounting questions about his health, age, and mental fitness, which ultimately led him to drop his bid for re-election. This weekend, Axios published audio from Biden's 2023 interview with Robert Hur, the special counsel who investigated his handling of classified documents. At some points during the interview, Biden appeared to struggle to remember key dates and details.
Do you have any idea where this material would have been before it got moved into the garage?
Well, if it was 2013, when did I stop being vice president? 2017. So I was vice president.
Tomorrow, a new book by 2 journalists is set to be published, raising more questions about whether Biden's inner circle may have concealed any cognitive decline during his time at the White House, something the Bidens denied in a recent interview.
You are wrong. There's nothing to sustain that.
As for the release of the special counsel audio, a Biden spokesperson says his administration had released the transcript more than a year ago, and that the audio does nothing but confirm what is already public. Meanwhile, a major question today that we don't yet have an answer to: how was the cancer missed in earlier screenings? Joan, Savannah.
Now to our other big story of the morning, the deadly storms that have swept across the country over the weekend. Nationwide, at least 28 people were killed, dozens of others injured. Most of the fatalities were in Kentucky, where the National Guard is now helping with search and rescue efforts. And in Missouri, the storm system is blamed for killing at least 7 people and damaging at least 5,000 buildings. NBC News correspondent Kathy Park is in hard-hit London, Kentucky. She joins us now with the latest. Kathy, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning to you. Yeah, preliminary reports suggest an EF3 tornado came through with wind speeds of more than 135 miles per hour. And that's why you're seeing pretty much a massive debris field right now. Home after home completely leveled. And in this drone shot, you can actually see the scope of the damage and see the path the tornado took, wiping out everything in its way.
This morning, millions across the central and southern plains bracing for even more potentially dangerous severe weather. It comes after at least 10 states were hit by tornadoes this weekend, including several on Sunday alone. Like Colorado, this twister blowing debris off buildings, and more fierce winds whipping up in Kansas. While in Missouri, entire neighborhoods in St. Louis are picking up the pieces.
And I opened the door, and this whole thing was just open.
After a massive EF3 tornado devastated thousands of homes, killing multiple people. The same storm system sweeping through Kentucky, taking 19 more lives.
Right now, all our efforts are still focused on searching and rescuing anyone who might still be in danger.
Many residents in disbelief.
You see this on TV, but you don't expect this to happen to someone in your family, and let alone like you.
With more severe weather ahead, there is growing concern over staffing and budget cuts at the National Weather Service. One example coming recently during a tornado outbreak in Jackson, Kentucky, where a union official said its usual staff of meteorologists was reduced and left without an overnight forecaster. But the agency telling NBC News the office remained fully staffed through the duration of the event using surge staffing.
And back here in Kentucky, we are also hearing so many stories of survival. In fact, one family telling us they were inside the hallway of this home as a tornado came through. Incredibly, everyone made it out alive without any injuries, but it's hard to believe when you see the devastation up close. And Joe, it is a race to salvage what they can, personal belongings and keepsakes, as this next storm moves in this week.
A long process ahead and something coming very soon to affect that again. All right, Kathy, thank you.
Well, now let's bring in Sheriff John Root of Laurel County, Missouri. Sheriff, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us on what I'm sure must be a difficult morning. First, can you just give us an idea of what it is like there right now? I mean, do the pictures even accurately show the scale of devastation?
You know, seeing is believing, and the damage is just merely, it's astronomical. Nothing like we've ever saw here before.
Sheriff, I know that the people who are responding and helping out right now are also impacted by these storms. That includes one of the deaths was a firefighter. I'm sure this is something that's touching all of your deputies, everyone who works for you very personally, right?
Oh, absolutely. Les Leatherman was a great guy. He was a dispatcher, volunteer, firefighter, and just a good man.
Sheriff Root, there is the possibility, as we were just discussing with Kathy, for more severe storms later this week. How do you prepare for that? What are you doing right now?
Well, what we're doing, we're trying to get the victims of this, totes, tarps. Like you said earlier, the National Guard isn't here. We have all kinds of volunteers. We're going to try to let them salvage what they can, get the property tarped and buckle down and hope and pray that it's not the same damages we've had as you're seeing here.
I was just going to say, what you're dealing with right now is devastating enough, but what are the biggest challenges, especially knowing that another storm system is on the way?
Well, just hoping that we can warn everybody, you know, and let them know what the chances are, and that we can have everybody prepared and try to get what little bit that these people have left to a safe place and make sure that everyone is safe.
As you start this week, what's your top priority, Sheriff, for the people that live in your town, but also as you prepare?
The top priority for these people is just to know that we're here. We're here for them. People have just come out. It's been unreal, the show of support that Laurel County has received from surrounding states, counties, and everyone has come together as one. And we just want to make sure that people are ready for this and just try to make them as comfortable. We've provided housing. And just the patrols. We're going to patrol, you know, looting. We've had a problem with that, and we've increased the patrols, and just to keep these people safe and try to comfort them any way that we can.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have lost their homes, and their homes are their shelters. So what are you doing to just try and make sure people who've been displaced are in a safe position, especially if you do deal with more severe weather?
Well, if we get the some really severe weather that's predicted, we're going to make an attempt to try to really encourage these people to leave areas. Some's in tents, some are still in the structures, want to stay with what little bit that they do have left. So we will make sure that they have shelter and try to keep them as safe as we can.
Sheriff Root, thank you very much for spending some time with us this morning. We are thinking about your community, and we'll keep checking in.
Thank you, guys.
Let's get a check on the forecast now from NBC meteorologist Michelle Grossman.
Yeah, she's tracking the severe storms for us. What else could be happening up ahead this week? Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Good morning, guys. And unfortunately, we are facing 2 or even 3 more days of severe storms, and that includes a chance of large tornadoes as well, especially today and tomorrow. That kind of lessens a little bit on Wednesday. So taking a look at radar right now, we're still seeing some storms this morning. That's going to ignite, though, as we go throughout the afternoon and evening hours. We get that daytime heating going, increasing the moisture, and that's going to trigger some storms. But we can see rain stretching from the northern plains all the way down to portions of the southeast. Heavy rain, too. That will be part of the risk where we're seeing those brighter colors. We're looking at lightning now. We're hearing thunder in spots this morning, and that will only increase throughout this Monday. So let's talk about what we expect over the next several days, because this, once again, will be a multi-day severe weather threat. Today, we'll see those storms moving throughout the plains, the central and southern plains. The northern plains, it looks like you're just going to see some plain rain, although it will be heavy at times. So the storms from the central and southern plains to the Ozarks, and especially ramping up this afternoon and evening. You can see this with that timestamp at 7 o'clock later on today. That's local time, where we are looking at that heavy rain falling, and we're looking at the chance for strong storms. We have a moderate risk. We have an enhanced risk. When we say moderate risk, that's 4 out of 5 on that scale. So really high end on that scale of seeing some strong storms. That's where you're looking at the red. We have an enhanced risk in orange. The yellow is a slight risk. So many spots could see some very strong storms, could see some hail, and also some damaging winds. Again, remember, winds, damaging wind gusts causes damage all on its own. Now, that's not the only spot today. We do have another spot throughout portions of the Tennessee Valley into the Carolinas under a slight risk for severe storms. So that is for today. As we go throughout tomorrow, we're going to see the Tennessee Valley once again seeing some storms. But looking at the hatched area here, this is the likeliest spot of seeing some really strong tornadoes once again. So we are going to watch this very, very closely as we go throughout this Monday. Bill Cairns will be with us all afternoon on NBC News Now. So he will be showing us where those storms are popping later on this afternoon. Then as we go throughout tomorrow, the storms pushing into the Tennessee Valley, the Ohio Valley, the mid-Mississippi Valley. And once again, we'll see those storm threats increasing throughout the afternoon and evening hours with the daytime heating. The greatest spots is in the yellow here, but we can't discount the yellow shading as well. So places like Nashville, Louisville, Paducah, Memphis, Huntsville, Tupelo could see all of those concerns along with some heavy rain. The hatched areas, we could see some tornadoes EF2 or greater. Now, over the weekend, we saw some EF3 tornadoes. Now, as we go towards Wednesday, guys, this is where it's going to lessen a bit, but we're still not out of the woods. We're looking at portions of the mid-Atlantic down to the southeast throughout the Carolinas with a chance for some storms. Back to you.
All right. So much going on. Important safety information for people there. Michelle, thank you. Well, President Trump is expected to speak on the phone with Russian President Vladimir Putin later this morning, followed by a call with Ukraine's President Zelensky. President Trump says he's hoping to end the war between the two countries.
Those phone calls come after Russia carried out one of its biggest drone attacks on Ukraine over the weekend. Officials say one woman was killed in the Kyiv region.
NBC News Chief International Correspondent Keir Simmons joins us on this. Keir, good morning. So what are we hearing from the Russians and the Americans about this phone call between Presidents Trump and Putin? What is the expectation here?
Well, Savannah, it is a potentially pivotal phone call between President Trump and President Putin. It's just hours away, and the Trump administration saying a face-to-face meeting between the two leaders is only a question of where, when, and what it will be about, with even the Vatican offering to host talks.
And so, Keir, President Trump spoke with the leaders of our European allies on Sunday. We know the Trump administration and Europe haven't always been on the same page when it comes to this. What was their message to Mr. Trump ahead of this call with President Putin?
Well, they've battled. I mean, the war continues. We're looking at over the weekend, Ukraine saying it was the heaviest drone attack that they've seen during this 3 years of war, which is extraordinary. And while that war grinds on, what you're seeing is a battle by the Europeans to try to influence President Trump ahead of that call with President Putin. And I think really what they are trying to do is to push the president to impose upon President Putin that there has to be a ceasefire first before there are negotiations. Of course, the big question is whether President Putin will bend that way, and whether President Trump is minded to push like that, because the other danger, and I think the Europeans are very aware of this, is that President Trump makes offers that the Europeans won't sign up to, that the Ukrainians won't sign up to. According to the White House, after President Trump speaks to President Putin, he will speak to President Zelensky.
Kira, as we mentioned, there was this major Russian drone attack over the weekend. Tell us about what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a bombardment and I think a message. We actually also at the same time saw an interview with President Putin broadcast on Russian state TV last night. It was recorded some days earlier, in which he effectively said that Russia is still winning, that it will still be able to achieve the goals that it had for its what he calls his special military operation. So really, I think that the point about that kind of onslaught is that Russia believes that it is able to kind of win in negotiations as well as on the battlefield. Now, it's important to point out on the ground, Russia is inching forward. It did make some headway some months ago, but that has slowed again. It doesn't, though, look as if the Russians are in any way unable to kind of feed the front lines with more soldiers, more fighters. So, again, for the Russians, their view is likely to be that they are on the front foot in all of this, and that therefore they deserve concessions. Now, of course, the Europeans and the Ukrainians don't agree with that, and the Ukrainians are equally determined and able to keep fighting for now. The question is, where does President Trump stand?
All right, Keir Simmons, thank you very much for your reporting here.
We are following a surreal incident on the East River over the weekend, with a routine naval exercise turning into a deadly disaster. The crash was caught on camera by many onlookers. Officials say it happened after the ship's captain lost control because of a mechanical failure. The impact left dozens injured, with 2 crew members killed. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock joins us now from Manhattan Seaport District, where the ship is still docked. Sam, good morning.
Yeah, Joe, Savannah, good morning. Shocking is the perfect word for this. That is the ship here at Pier 35, right over my shoulder. Joe, the impact of the mast crushing into the underside of the Brooklyn Bridge ended up leaving the mast themselves in that like L formation. There were crew members on the mast at the time, Joe, when this happened. The Mexican Navy says 2 people died as a result, nearly a dozen others critically injured, as New York City officials say that ship was actually leaving from nearby Pier 17, headed in the opposite direction toward the ocean. When they lost power, they lost steering, and then just sheer calamity ensued. From multiple angles. What is going on? A slow-motion catastrophe playing out at the Brooklyn Bridge Saturday night.
Woo! It's hitting the bridge!
Incredulous New Yorkers watching as a Mexican naval training ship on a goodwill tour and its trio of 160-foot-tall masts crumbling in heart-stopping fashion under one of the most famous bridges in the world.
We have about at least a dozen people injured on our vessel.
Divers were launched protectively, though NYPD officials say all 277 people on board were accounted for. Crew members who appear to have been on the topmost rung can be seen swinging violently in videos shared online, as many others were left dangling. The Mexican Navy has confirmed 2 people so far have died, with nearly a dozen in critical condition.
The captain that was maneuvering the ship lost, power of the ship, and the current mechanical function caused the ship to go right into the pillar of the bridge.
Witnesses simply stunned by what they were seeing.
We just saw the top of it snap off, and it just kept on snapping.
In video taken before the crash, you can see crew members blanketing those very masts.
They were all celebrating. People were dancing, singing, but there was people on the mast standing up, and it hit the top shelf, and the mast came down, and the people were just hanging from there.
Overnight, a vigil to honor the cadets and crew members killed and those injured, as the New York Emergency Management Commissioner tells NBC News the quick reaction from first responders likely saved lives.
They were on scene almost immediately, helping get critically injured patients off of the ships onto the pier, getting them into the hospitals. It was incredibly well orchestrated by the FDNY and EMS and NYPD harbor units.
So, Joe in Savannah, the U.S. Coast Guard tells us that foreign ships do require a tug escort depending upon the vessel. And in this case, the Coast Guard confirms that Mexican ship that collided with the bridge over the weekend did have a tug escort. Why it wasn't able to help to redirect the ship, not clear. That is likely going to be part of the NTSB investigation. As for the structural integrity of the Brooklyn Bridge, according to Chuck Schumer, he says that he spoke with the New York City Department of Transportation. It's fine, and traffic is flowing freely this morning. Guys, back to you.
Sam, thank you.
Well, the FBI has identified a suspect in the bombing of a Palm Springs fertility clinic over the weekend. That man was killed while 4 others were injured in the Saturday attack that agents are calling an act of terrorism. 2 senior law officials briefed on the incident told NBC News that the 25-year-old suspect appears to have been driven by antinatalist ideology, which is the belief that no one should have children. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky joins us live in Los Angeles with the latest on this. Morgan, good morning.
Yes, Vanna, good morning. And authorities are now calling this the largest explosion in Southern California. But say despite the victims initially injured in this blast, all of them have now been released from medical care. In the meantime, as you mentioned, investigators poring over the ideology and potential motivators as to what could have led this 25-year-old suspect to target a fertility clinic here with a bomb. This morning, federal investigators calling the massive blast that shook the idyllic desert community of Palm Springs an intentional act of terrorism.
This was a targeted attack against the IVF facility.
Authorities naming Guy Edward Bartkus, a 25-year-old from a neighboring town, as the man they say detonated an explosive outside of a fertility clinic on Saturday. The largest bomb to strike Southern California, shattering windows and leaving a wake of debris spanning 2.5 football fields in every direction.
To throw pieces of vehicle hundreds of feet in the air and then several blocks away, imagine how big that bomb device was.
Law enforcement sources telling NBC News the suspect in the car bombing appeared to have an anti-natalist ideology, a belief that having children is morally wrong. Bartkus's father, Richard, says he had not seen his son in 12 years.
Last time I saw him, he was a good kid. And now I'll never see him again. They don't know him like I know him.
Authorities say this is the first time Bartkus has popped up on the FBI's radar. Agents executed a search warrant at his home in neighboring 29 Palms as officials reassured residents there is no ongoing threat. But amid the devastation, good news for the hopeful families who stored precious embryos inside the clinic.
We were able to save all of the embryos at this facility. Good guys 1, bad guys 0.
Now, federal investigators say they plan to be on site for at least the next 36 hours, poring over the evidence there. They also say that they plan on digging into that possible manifesto and say, Savannah, that this suspect may have wanted to live stream this explosion as it took place. Savannah?
Morgan, thank you.
The search continues this morning in New Orleans for several inmates who escaped from a jail. Officials are calling it one of the largest breakouts in state history. And investigators now say they believe the escapees may have received help from people inside the department. NBC News correspondent Ryan Chandler is in New Orleans with the very latest. Ryan, good morning.
Joe, good morning. The sheriff here points to a series of failures that led to this breakout, from broken locks to faulty security cameras. Even the sheriff says a possible inside job. 3 of those men have so far been recaptured. 7 are still on the run. Authorities warn they are armed and dangerous as they increase the reward for tips that may lead to their arrest to $17,000.
3 days after this jaw-dropping jailbreak in New Orleans, 7 fugitives remain on the run, with the search ready to expand.
We have actionable intelligence on all 7 of those fugitives, and we hope
in the coming days, if not the coming hours, that we have them all apprehended.
The bold escape Friday morning caught on camera, with one inmate breaking open this cell door. Inside, a hole cut through the wall. They then fled across a busy road. The inmate's parting message mocking the sheriff's office, appearing to say, "Too easy. Catch us when you can." Those 10 inmates broke out of that jail just after 1 in the morning Friday, making a mad dash across 9 lanes of highway, eventually dropping their clothes in this industrial area. Some of them haven't been seen since.
They have friends and family members who are helping them and concealing them and helping them move.
Hours after their escape, at least one inmate seen in New Orleans' popular French Quarter before being taken back into custody. Of the 7 still on the run, 1 is a convicted killer. 4 more are charged with murder or attempted murder, leaving many in the Big Easy on edge.
You don't know where they're at, who they in touch with, who they talking to. They might be, who knows, in your backyard one day.
The sheriff who oversees the jail alleging this was an inside job.
It's almost impossible, not completely, but almost impossible for anybody to get out of this facility without help from the outside.
3 jail employees have been placed on administrative leave.
Who specifically needs to be held accountable and how?
Well, it seems like everyone, except for the police. They seem to be doing their job.
Where is the sheriff today?
I don't know. Hopefully minding the jail.
Now as the manhunt enters a 4th day, police ask the public to help bring the escapees to justice.
So, Ryan, the big question on everyone's mind, just how could this have happened and why did it take so long, hours for jail employees to even realize the inmates had escaped?
Yeah, Joe, lots of questions and calls for accountability now. We do know from authorities that the employee who was monitoring this cell block was away from their post when this breakout happened, grabbing food. We also know that authorities are looking into those inmates' communications, their texts and calls from inside the jail to see who they may have been talking to right up before this escape, Joe.
All right, Ryan, thank you so much.
Well, there is much more to come on this hour of Morning News Now, including more on Israel's deadly new offensive in Gaza as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vows to take control of all of the embattled enclave.
First, after the break, Pope Leo XIV made official his inaugural message of peace and civility offered to followers over the weekend. Those stories and more up next. Welcome back. Over the weekend, Pope Leo XIV was officially inaugurated as the 267th pontiff of the Roman Catholic Church. In his first official mass at the Vatican, he called for peace and civility before a crowd of more than 200,000 people. That crowd included Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez is at the Vatican and joins us with more. Raf, good morning. So first of all, just what can you tell us about this homily and how did the crowd react to the Pope's message?
Joe, good morning. So this homily was Pope Leo's chance to set out the priorities for his new pontificate. And there were 2 big themes. 1, unity in the church, and 2, peace in the world. So unity in the church. We heard from a lot of those cardinals as they went into the Sistine Chapel to vote for the new pope. They were looking for somebody to bring the church together. Pope Francis's time in office was many things, but it was polarizing inside of the church. Pope Leo emerged as a consensus candidate pretty quickly, and he said yesterday that he would do everything he could to promote unity inside of the Roman Catholic Church among its 1.4 billion followers worldwide. And then peace in the world. He said that the world today is scarred by violence, by hatred, and by prejudice, and he made clear that he wants the church to play whatever role it can in making peace. In terms of the crowd, you said some 200,000 people here, very joyful atmosphere. People understood that they were here for a new chapter of this ancient church. And Joe, I will tell you, we saw a lot of American flags out there greeting the first American Pope. Jeff.
Raf, did the Pope mention any specific countries or instances in his talk about peace? Did he keep the message generic? You gave us some details here, but give us a little more.
Yeah, Savannah, so he actually did mention 3 specifics. This was just ahead of the communion. He talked, first of all, about Gaza, where he said that people, including children, are starving to death right now. He talked about the situation in Myanmar, where you might remember there was a temporary ceasefire after that devastating earthquake. That ceasefire has basically broken down now. You're seeing very intense fighting once again between the government and between rebels. He says there needs to be peace there. And then finally, he called for an end to the war in Ukraine. And as you mentioned, that is a message that he delivered with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sitting there among the dignitaries in the audience.
And
Yes.
Raph, I want to ask you more about that because, as we mentioned, Zelensky was there. So was U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. The last time those two were together in Washington did not go very well. How did it go this time?
Yeah, Joe, it was really interesting to watch these world leaders who, you know, they're used to being the center of attention, but they are there in the audience. The Pope is the center. But we did see, you're seeing it there, Vice President Vance shaking hands with Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines of this mass. It's a sort of small act of peacemaking as the Pope called for peace in the world. Those two men then did sit down more formally at the American ambassador's residence here in Rome. They talked about the Trump administration's push to get a ceasefire in Ukraine. And of course, it comes ahead of President Trump's scheduled call with Vladimir Putin.
Well, Raph, does it feel like this Pope will be involved in the peace process between Russia and Ukraine, or could be helpful in actually getting there?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Savannah. The Pope has said that he is prepared to offer the Vatican as a venue for peacemaking. So that could be as literal as if the two sides want to come here and they want to gather under the roof of the Roman Catholic Church and sit down across from each other. The Pope says he is prepared to do that. Peace talks so far have been taking place mainly in Turkey, sometimes in Saudi Arabia. But it will be very interesting to see if the two delegations do potentially come here with the Pope acting as some kind of broker. Of course, President Trump says that he is the man to bring those two sides together. So far, no plans, but we will keep a close eye on it. Yes.
Right. Raph Sanchez. Raph, thank you.
We are following developing news out of the Middle East as well. Israel has launched an aggressive ground offensive to take full control of the Gaza Strip.
NBC's Matt Bodner joins us from London with that and some other world headlines. Matt, good morning.
Joe, Savannah, good morning. Prime Minister Netanyahu today says that Israel is conducting an intensive and large-scale operation in Gaza with the objective of taking full control of the entire Gaza Strip. The IDF today has ordered the evacuation of Gaza's second largest city. The operation began yesterday following an intense air campaign over the weekend that local health officials say killed more than 100 people and crippled the last working hospital in northern Gaza. Netanyahu, in his remarks today, said that the IDF plans to take direct control of humanitarian aid distribution in the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, international mediators are pushing for progress on ceasefire talks in Qatar, but Israel seems committed to the total defeat of Hamas. Moving along now to Romania, a right-wing nationalist candidate was defeated by the pro-EU mayor of Bucharest, Nicușor Dan, in a controversial redo of the country's presidential election. The race was annulled last year by the nation's Supreme Court amid widespread claims of Russian electoral interference. Dan campaigned on fighting corruption and maintaining support for neighboring Ukraine in its war with Russia. Dan's opponent, George Simion, campaigned on messages critical of the European Union and called for cutting aid to Ukraine. And we'll wrap up this hour in Vienna, where the winner of this year's Eurovision Song Contest received a hero's welcome. Austria's classically trained singer, known as JJ, won the competition with his song Wasted Love, and that was on Saturday night. Walking into Vienna's airport, JJ was greeted by hundreds of cheering fans. JJ actually sings at the Vienna State Opera, and he's Austria's third ever Eurovision winner. Back to you guys.
I have to say, I was in Europe last week, and on the night of the second semifinals, you could not go into a bar that
without
did not have
seeing it.
Eurovision on every single screen.
We were talking about this when you were gone last week. It's wild.
They are obsessed
Yeah.
there, so congratulations there. Thanks, Matt. Coming up, we've got some pretty eye-opening new snooze clues for all of you waking up with us this morning.
After the break, what a massive global study is revealing about the way a lot of us sleep and if hitting that glorious snooze button is actually worth it. It's quite the wake-up call. That's next.
We are back with a look at a new study that shows just how much people use the snooze button on their alarm.
Yeah, researchers at Mass General Brigham analyzed sleep app data from more than 21,000 people around the world. And they found that more than half, I guess we're included in this, of all sleep sessions ended with people snoozing that alarm. The average time spent snoozing was 11 minutes.
Board-certified sleep specialist Dr. Carol Ash joins us now to take a closer look at this one. Dr. Carol, good to have you with us. My biggest question is on a medical one. I don't understand why the snooze alarm is 9 minutes long, but we can tackle that later. When someone is hitting snooze in the morning, first of all, just what does that tell us about their sleep?
Well, Joe and Savannah, good morning. This is a great study. You know, we didn't really look at who and why and how are people using the snooze button. And what this study points to, and some other recent studies, that it's women more than men. And we think perhaps it's because women are more prone to insomnia. We find that people who go to bed late, those folks that might not be making sleep a priority and doing all kinds of things in the last minute, long sleepers who might have a medical condition. And, you know, what we've discovered is that, in fact, people who are more likely to use the snooze button are night owls. And how that works is genetically, you have to have the right amount, average being 8 hours, and your chronotype is what you naturally will tend to do. Whether you go to bed late at night and wake up early will depend on how your natural genetic tendency is in alignment with the rising and setting of the sun. So night owls go to bed later and wake up later. So if they have work schedule needs or childcare needs, then getting up early will likely cause them to get up in deep sleep. And if you get up naturally aligned with your chronotype, your brain has all the brain chemistry to make you wake up alert and refreshed without an alarm clock. So it comes down to, are you a night owl or are you a morning lark?
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine waking up without an alarm clock personally. So many people, as revealed by this study, do hit snooze to get those few extra minutes of sleep. But like, is that actually good? Because I think sometimes what people do, right, is they set their alarm earlier than they need to get up to give them time to snooze, but then you're disrupting your sleep. But like, just generally, is it good or bad if you're doing this?
That's a great question, Savannah. You know, sleep experts, we long believed that people who were hitting the snooze button were lazy and it was interrupted poor quality sleep. But we now know those, again, night owls, people that need to go to bed later, get up later, they would wake up in deep sleep and would wake up feeling groggy. So if you're a night owl, hitting the snooze button is a great idea. So if you get the right amount, you're a night owl, hit the snooze button, but no more than 30 minutes. So, you know, 2 to 3 times. And that will help you to transition into lighter stages of sleep, so you could wake up more alert.
You mentioned the gender divide here, the study revealing women are more likely to snooze than men, and usually a little longer. If you look at the numbers, women snoozed on average just over 11 minutes. For men, it was roughly 10 minutes. Talk more. Do we know why that is?
Well, Joe, you know, most of the studies, in fact, were done in men over time, sleep studies, because women, there's factors like hormones that create extra variables in the study. We theorize that women tend to have greater problems with insomnia, but we're not really sure. So obviously much more studying to do. But, you know, this study really kind of points to if you know your chronotype. And how do you know your chronotype? Well, if you're more likely to feel energetic during the day, and if allowed to wake up and go to bed at a time that really works for you, if it's a later bedtime, later wake up, you're probably an owl, right? And then stick to, you know, those tips about using the snooze button and make sure that you stick to the basics, right? A healthy diet, exercise has been shown to help sleep, and you know, making sure the room that you sleep in, it has the right environment, right? Calm, quiet, cool, and avoid that caffeine and heavy meals before bedtime. All are good habits to focus on.
Good advice there. Dr. Carol Ash, good to have you with us as always. Thanks so much.
My pleasure, Joe and Savannah.
Coming up, a pretty alarming new phone scam that's now got the FBI taking notice.
When we come back, what officials say you need to know about hackers who are using AI to get at your sensitive information. Stay with us. That's up next. We are back with a new warning from the FBI about scammers. Officials say hackers are now using artificial intelligence to try and trick people into giving up their personal information. Now, the scam will usually come in the form of a text or a voice message attempting to impersonate a senior government official. Reporter Linda Baccaro from NBC New York has more on what to watch out for.
A warning from the FBI about text messages and voicemails using AI, claiming to come from senior government officials. Lance Ulanoff is editor-at-large at Tech Radar, an online publication about technology.
You can recreate a voice in a matter of minutes with some of these tools. And that means not just recreating your own voice, but creating a voice based on someone else, like an official.
The FBI now issuing a warning about responding to these fake messages, saying they'll try to get your personal account information, usually by asking to switch to a separate messaging platform.
You know, I often tell people that when you, especially when you receive like a voice phishing attack, is don't respond, don't act on what they're telling you, and instead go back to the source.
The FBI offers these safety recommendations. Verify the identity of the person calling or texting you, and examine closely the email address and the phone number. Look for imperfections in any photo or video attachments, like distorted hands or feet. And when in doubt, contact officials or the FBI. And with voicemails, Ulanoff has this tip.
Sometimes there's little glitches in the voices. There's something they say that doesn't sound right. There's the tone goes up and down, the pitch goes up and down. Don't act immediately. You know, seconds are not going to matter, but they will matter, the difference between protecting yourself and not.
Our thanks to Linda Baccaro for that report. Experts say don't click on any links or download any attachments until you verify who they are coming from.
Ooh, really good tips there. Well, let's get to some more money news and on a very related topic. This morning, the White House is reportedly sounding the alarm over a budding AI deal between Apple and Alibaba.
CNBC's Savannah Henao has more on that and some other money news. Savannah, good morning.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Savannah. Good morning to you. Yeah, the Trump administration and U.S. lawmakers are concerned about a deal between Apple and China's Alibaba to bring AI features to iPhones sold in China. So the New York Times reports White House officials and House Select Committee on China have asked Apple about the deal with questions focused on what data would be shared with Alibaba. The deal itself has only been publicly confirmed by Alibaba, not Apple. The company is also facing other pressures from trade tensions and tariffs as it makes the majority of iPhones in China. The maker of Guinness beer and Johnnie Walker whiskey expects a $150 million hit from U.S. tariffs, lower than the $200 million it estimated earlier this year. And that's as threats of 25% tariffs on Mexican tequila and Canadian whiskey didn't materialize. Diageo gets about half its sales in the U.S. from products that must be made either in Mexico or Canada, such as Don Julio and Crown Royal. And special orders at fast food restaurants don't usually result in a lawsuit, but a Houston man has a beef with one chain. He's suing Whataburger after claiming he got an allergic reaction from onions on his burger after he asked for them not to be included. His lawsuit alleges he suffered serious personal injuries for which he had to seek medical care and is seeking at least $250,000 in damages. Whataburger has denied the allegations in a court filing demanding strict proof of the claims, guys.
All right, Savannah, thank you.
Thank you. Well, Florida Cafe is putting a whole new spin on the idea of animal encounters, and it's got people lining up for more than just lattes. This cafe features capybaras, the world's largest rodents, creating an experience that is as heartwarming for some as it is unforgettable. NBC News correspondent George Solis takes us to St. Augustine for a closer look inside the Capybara Cafe.
At this St. Augustine, Florida cafe, it's not food or beverage that steal the show.
There it is.
The vibrant and plush decor playfully hinting what visitors are really here for. A turn down this nondescript hallway and then into a world of cute and cuddly. Welcome to the Capybara Cafe. Offering an experience like no other with the friendly, largest living rodents that everyone can't seem to get enough of.
There's nowhere else that you can get this up close and personal. You can go pet a capybara, but typically they're not on your lap. They're not sitting and taking up your couch. They're not eating from your hand. It's been an amazing ride.
Stephanie Angel opened the cafe in America's oldest city late last year as a way to sustain her nonprofit, Noah's Ark Sanctuary, dedicated to rescuing and rehabilitating animals in need. Angel, a former firefighter, says rescuing comes easy, but cash is another story. Hope that her love of these semi-aquatic South American relatives of the guinea pig would resonate beyond social media.
Has this exceeded your wildest expectations?
Absolutely. I was expecting a couple people to like capybaras and come visit, but the outpouring of support has been overwhelming.
During this visit to the cafe, we met Mocha, Latte, and Macchiato. The trio part of a revolving cast of capybara ambassadors that, get this, choose which days they work and spend their downtime here at this 1,200 square foot oasis.
Their backyard's pretty much nicer than mine.
The cool as cucumber cappies, not just helping Angel fund her dream, but making others come true.
Tell me about the mission here beyond just these awesome encounters.
The cool thing is rescue and rehab gets no money from state and federal funds, so everything is donation. We not only want to provide the animals care, but we also help other rescues and rehabs.
Beyond writing checks, Angel has opened her doors to organizations like Second Chance Ranch and Rescue.
You're holding it, you're loving it. Are you gonna go home and research it, hopefully?
Absolutely.
The idea is to not only create more opportunities for unique animal experiences, but to also educate about the harsh reality some of these creatures, like lemurs, face.
This is the difference right here, being able to do exactly
Yes, absolutely.
this.
Are you going to forget that you held a critically endangered animal, like, for the rest of your life?
Everything here done by the book, with animals and guest safety being top priority. From chilling with capybara, warming up to wallaby, or assuring an armadillo. Reservations here are booked months in advance. Those lucky enough to snag one left with plenty to say about their newfound cappy place.
How was it?
It was the best day of my life.
And after an afternoon of cuddles, it's not hard to see why.
She just wants to climb up on your lap and hang out. That's why they say, don't worry, be cappy.
I can take a page out of that playbook.
Right? What a life.
George Solis, NBC News, St. Augustine, Florida.
Are you into them?
They're cute. New York's going to do this with rats, by the way.
That's the thing. I'm just like, I see too much rodent for me.
You might need to wear gloves and get lots of shots afterward. All right. Coming up, a stellar student making history at one top Virginia university.
After the break, he's mastering his studies before he can even legally drive a car. His story's up next. We are back now with a remarkable feat by a British mountaineer. We're talking about Kenton Cool. Yes, Cool is his last name, and he just made history again. The 51-year-old just climbed Everest for the 19th time this Sunday, breaking his own record for the most climbs up the world's tallest mountain by a non-Sherpa. That means only guides in Nepal have been to the peak more than he has. Mr. Cool, who is also a mountain guide, first climbed Everest in 2004 and has done it nearly every year since then. I mean, it's just amazing.
With a name like that, he was destined to do something.
Destined, yes.
It's cool. All right. Finally this hour, a 16-year-old boy has made history at George Mason University. Drew Wilder of our NBC Washington affiliate has a look at one teen who is succeeding in degrees.
In a room with thousands of people dressed exactly the same, this guy stands out, but he's not the type to advertise why.
All my friends here didn't know either, so I felt like a regular student, which was nice.
But in most ways, Yevon Gunatilaka from Leesburg is not exactly a regular student. He graduates with a master's degree from George Mason University, and he finishes with a perfect 4.0 GPA. And he did it before he could legally drive a car.
I have the permit, though.
At 16 years old, Gunatilaka is the youngest person ever to earn a master's degree from Virginia's largest public university. The youngest ever title, though, is old news. He was also the youngest person to earn a bachelor's degree at Mason, and he did that just 5 months ago. His mother, Lana, beaming with pride, but lacking surprise.
We knew from a young age, before he was 5, he was doing decimal percentages in his head. And it was amazing even at that age.
Yevon studies computer sciences and sees himself eventually working and researching artificial intelligence.
And I'm also working in researching cryptography. So that's like embedding some security into the AI, which I think will be really important in the future.
After acing a graduate program in just 5 months, a regular student might take some time off.
Over the summer, a lot of traveling for tournaments. You have to go to Houston, Atlanta.
A 16-year-old graduate degree holder and a professional cricket player for a minor league team out of Baltimore. Now, it's probably relaxing to feel regular every now and then, but the future is so much more exciting when you're this exceptional, following in the footsteps of his parents, who also work in computer science.
I want to see where he can take the field, hopefully be one of the innovators of the future.
Yevon plans to enroll in a doctorate program at George Mason, and he could very likely then also become the youngest person to ever earn a PhD at GMU.
There's more to come for that exciting young man.
No kidding.
How impressive.
16.
Thanks to Drew Wilder for sharing that story. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us, so the news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.